is a good time to save our ocean. So let's begin our journey. And here you will see that there is a very rotating gate made of plastic, which means there is a very huge pollution in the oceans. So when I touch the gate, I will be sent return to the beginning place. So we need to try to find the right time to go through it. This game is not only tasting our gaming skills, it also represents that it's a very huge challenge to achieve the global concept in our real life. So let's try. Okay, when I successfully go into here, you will see there is some wheels was struggling with plastic, and you guys can hear the voice, which means the wheel is very painful and sadly. So there is really need our help. And because we are a small fish, you will see here is a real whale is swimming around here. So maybe we need to find a place to escape. But otherwise, I will be eaten by the whales. So here you will see we're in the belly of the whale. You can hear the very terrible voice because the whale is very painful because they eat a lot of plastic in their stomach. And you can see here is the plastic maze, which means you have to find the right way to escape here. So let's try to escape the belly of the whale. And here you will see the plastic was shaking and moving, so you can't touch them, it will cover you. Okay, so I think we are successfully escaped from the belly of the whale. And here you will see there's pretty green fungus here, which is a symbol of health and solutions. So I think we need to try to grab this fungus and put on the plastic, which means it can clean the plastic. So I think let's try. So when I grab this fungus, you will see the pretty light pops out. Okay, so after we clean all the plastic, you will see the ground is changed and changed to green, which means there is more clean and there's no more plastic. You will see there is a fish was swimming here and it's very happily, and their plant is coming, the plant's growing up. So I think we're successfully cleaned this plastic. And here is the last two wheel struggling with plastic, so let's free them. Okay, after the wheels going up, we will see here is the way to give us explore the ocean to the final thing. Okay, so I think we're back to the belly of the whale, and you can see here is a huge difference between the first place. So there's no more terrible voice and there's no more plastic, and you will see here is a green fungus, which means it works. It's cleaned all plastic, and you can see here is a shiny star here. That means the whale is very clean, the stomach is very clean. So I think this is our game, but I think it's not just a game. It's a real call to the actions. Through our interactive gaming experiments, it highlights the ocean needs our help and the whale needs our help, and also the emergency of the environmental actions. So our game is over, but I think the beginning of the important task to achieve our global concept and to protect our environment and ocean, the whale, is just beginning. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic work with typography, very good. So I want to point attention of our guests that all the typographic sculptures were modeled by the members of the team, by designers and computer scientists, and they worked together to put it in a very sophisticated form and shape. And the message is very important, and I really like the fact that you are trying to explore it from the whale, fish point of view, right? Because a lot of the projects, I mean, it's very, we see about the preservation of the ocean, but this is one of the first projects, at least in our class, that really tries to immerse the entire cohort of the cave visitors in the mind of the fish and look at it from the fish perspective. So I think this is a very good work, and this is a very good idea too. Chime in if anybody has any comments, any feedback, so it's open for everybody.
I think you guys did a really good job with the audio too. It's really immersive, and it's a very clear contrast between what's a negative scene and what's a positive scene. So I think that was really successful.
And guests, if you want to also say something on the Zoom, I think we can hear. Hopefully. Okay. All right, thank you so much. Great work. All right. Over there, here,
And honestly, I like it so.
You're ready, we're ready.
So our project is called Metro Future. Our team's sustainable goal for the Metro Future experience is to encourage the building of resilient train infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, widen accessibility of public transit, and foster innovation. The project centers around the pitfalls of America's car-based infrastructure and how it negatively impacts everyday life, despite having far better alternatives for our disposal. Hopefully by the end of the experience, participants will be inspired to take full action with Chicago's public transit systems and advocate in communities beyond cities for more accessible and environmentally friendly public infrastructure like the train.
Alright, so at the beginning of our experience, we'll start with 2 doors, and they'll give us the option to take the car or the train to work. For this one, we'll be starting with the car, because it makes most sense than
Head north 1.5 miles on the
throughout
street.
experience, there'll be
Please
all
observe
sorts of
all road
billboards
rules
on
since you are driving.
information about,
Your work destination will be on your right.
trains and cars. If we move forward here, we will come across our first obstacle, which is traffic. As you can see, we have to wait here a while because there's a car in our way, and we have to wait for the light to turn green. It's meant to be a general nuisance and feel irritating for the player. And after a little while, when the light turns green, we move the car out of the way. So. Here we have a little bit of a somber which is reckless drivers. We have a drunk driver, an irritated driver, and someone who's texting. They will spin directly in front of us and try and block our path. And we can't go around them because we go on the sidewalk and irritating audio will play.
Obey the road rules. Obey the road rules.
So we just
Obey
push
the road
past them
rules.
as best we can.
Obey the road rules.
It's so fun. Here we have our hot section. It's meant to disorient the viewer and the player. And it's meant to be generally kind of navigating to show like how, despite how much money we put into it, it's both still all kind of trash. And here is our CO2 section, which shows the pollution of cars and asks if people need to drive. This will start popping in because it's generally sick. And then here is an area that will present how much maintenance costs for cars and how much money we dump into something that generally isn't that negative in our lives. Oh no! Here we have some of those maintenance fees directly in our way. So we have to click them and get rid of them.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, and once you get far enough, you are physically incapable of moving any further. The player is locked here until they take that coin and they pay for gas. And that's the end of the car experience. You've made it to work. And if you go through that little door over there, you'll go back here and you'll be given your second option. Take the train. Now
Follow
here
the sidewalk
you'll
to boost your
usually
health.
walk to the train.
The
As
train
you walk in,
station
you'll gain
entrance
health,
will be on your right at the
because
end of the street.
walking is generally a healthy activity. We have this little elevator here that'll take you to the train platform. And here we have this phone that will play a little bit of food for the players.
Profitability. Personality. Productivity. By using your phone on the train, not only are you improving yourself, but also society. For example, you can make weekend plans, shop online, learn new work skills, or discover new music. These are not things you could do while driving because it's risky to do so. Trains give you more freedom. So, next time you're on the train, pull your phone out and become your best self.
So that's our cute little infomercial. And then here we have this globe that once you click it, it'll clear all the CO2 that you see in the car section because it's not driving a car. And it should be better for the environment. And then if you walk forward, it will definitely make it to the train platform.
Doors open.
Yeah, and now you're just going to ride the train home. And as you're going through the train and it takes you home,
Doors
you'll be able to
closed.
overlook everything from the car section and see, wow, that sucks. And we're taking the best route that we can because it's efficient. We don't have to deal with any of that stuff in the background. And now we've made it home. Of course, we still have to get off the platform before we're essentially there.
Doors open.
Just after we take this elevator down, we should reach the teleporter that's waiting for us at the bottom, and then we will reach the end of our experience where we finally made it home. And hopefully after all this, people will recognize that cars are generally just really bad forms of transportation, and if you ever have the chance, you should be taking a train.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really like how it reminds the brown line, Chicago Loop, right? So it's you can see through all the potholes and really about Chicago experience. And wonderful, complex work. At the beginning, I was worried that you would not be able to accomplish the ambitious plan that you had, but here you are, success. You know, everything is there, all the details, and really important work. Thanks for integrating sound so well and the data. It's you know, and having a positive message at the end, because it's really important to know that we can do something about this. Especially now we are living in Chicago, right? So like we're not somewhere where there's no transportation, no bike lanes, right? We are here. And just a personal note, 190 people in 2022, majority of the people who were killed were pedestrians, right? Which is, you know, interesting statistics, right? Like, you know, drunk drivers, drivers doing the test, drivers something, like what is the correlation between those, right? And it just kind of tells you, so it's not really bikers, it's not really, it's just the, you know, normal people, civilians walking, you know, on the crosswalks probably, right? So, important message, important work, and yeah, so thanks very much for doing the great project about that.
Yeah, shout out to our computer science major.
Yay! Fantastic work, you know, linking everything.
Yes.
Very ambitious too, but successfully accomplished.
I think there's a question over
Is it okay?
Yeah, go chime in.
Oh yeah. I really enjoyed the way that you played with sort of the selling trains by selling freedom. Right. Like, historically in the United States, like part of the argument sort of around why we're such a car-centric and sort of like a road-centric society is that it's predicated upon sort of you know, a very special and sort of inherent disposition of Americans towards freedom and more freedom. I like the way that sort of like even the way that the game is designed and sort of the narrative arc really sort of like, you know, sort of like frames cars as sort of like as sort of inherently antithetical to freedom, as much as it's sort of like, you know, it felt very sort of like Facebook, very sort of, in a certain sense, sort of the idea of like liberation through sort of like mobile social media engagement felt a little dystopian. I thought it was the way that you framed it was really smart, and I think all of the games so far have really played with sort of like even though they're all first person, sort of really pulling sort of the viewer sort of like out of themselves in a really smart way. All three of them, I thought that they've been great. The sound design also on all three have been excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and a lot of the humor made the game enjoyable, but it also makes the message a little easier to stick as you think back about it.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, hello everybody, my name is Janae. I'm a graphic design major.
My name is Michelle. I also a graphic design major.
Ashu, computer science.
Justin, graphic design information.
We are plastic extermination, and our concept is life below water. And we decided to address the pollution issue in our ocean by creating a simulation that allows the user to actively clean the trash and plastic on the seafloor. And as a result of this, they will be presented with a cleaner ocean of debris.
So obviously we're in the ocean, but something's wrong with it. It looks a little bit murky and not what we usually picture the ocean to be, which is like a clear environment and represented with some not so friendly words that seem like they're blocking our way. Can we try talking through? Oh, it looks like we can't. So, I guess we need to walk around though. So essentially what we're trying to do is that we're trying to, walk around through the ocean, but there's an obstacle in our way. And these letters are meant to represent the hindrance that marine animals in the ocean also feel. So once you go through the end of the obstacles, you're meet with the turtle that seems like it's in a predicament. We probably should try to help it. Oh. It's going back. So it seems to be help the turtle. Maybe we can help the ocean a bit out by getting rid of these nasty letters. So are we able to click on them?
Oh,
They're all gone.
Perfect. So now we're gonna walk through the A of the waist. And as you walk through it, you're gonna find another picture of fish that is in need of help as we go through the scene. I don't know where the fish went.
Oh, she's gone. Well, so well, you help the turtle. It's obviously not the only marine animal that you can help. So after you go through the letter A, there's another creature that is eating the plastic, and it'll make like a really disturbing munching noise. And obviously, we don't want the fish to eat the plastic. So when you help the fish, similar to how you help the turtle, it'll swim away and change color. And then after you help the turtle, you notice that you can continue walking up to the shore.
Yeah, and so once you get on shore, every word that you picked up as well as the plastic will be by their respective bins. And it's important that we throw away the trash into the trash bin and the recycling words into the recycling bin. And as the testing pop up, change starts with us. We can push this bin. And then we throw the words into this bin. Over 100,000 aquatic animals suffer plastic pollution every year, and it's just important that we recycle and throw away trash so that this doesn't happen.
So similar how you were able to walk through the big letters of the waste, the word clean shows up after you put away the plastic and the words that was hindering you at the start of it. And since they're look like the same, maybe you can walk through it. Yeah, you can walk through it.
And now we are met with a cleaner ocean, more vibrant fish, and yeah, it's just important to keep our oceans clean, throw away plastic and trash, and make sure that we're recycling correctly.
Let's go.
yeah. The clean environment looks so lively and so pretty, and I really like aesthetics when you start with the pollution, right? Because you work so hard on that, but eventually I think juxtaposition of just the light and positiveness of this last scene is, really making a huge difference. And your work with the typographic sculpture of the fish is amazing, right? It's really nicely done. And turtle, who modeled the turtle? You did, very good. And overall, I think, just the positive message of it that you can go underwater, you can go outside of the water, and you connecting the actions what we do in daily life, not under the ocean, but actually just regular, trash and regular recycling. with the with the life of undersea, right, and under what the fish and how it affects the corals and overall life underwater. And I think it's really important, massive. Thanks for doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to second what Daria said about topography. That's for all the projects so far, that I love how much the use of topography really captures the spirit and the analytic of each project. But the other thing I want to sort of compliment this group on is often with frameless media, which this is, like kind of 360 mode, there's a way in which a lot of designers and documentary filmmakers, people who started using this mode, still treat it as framed. And so much of the action or much of anything of interest is only on one side. And what's nice here is I never lost interest in any part. So the fact that you're taking advantage of the frameless quality of the media, and that goes for the other projects too. It's really exciting to see. So.
Thank you. One small thing to add to sort of like this project, it's a seemingly small thing, but sort of like had a huge effect, as sort of Daria said, sort of like you use sort of like the color palette as both a game mechanic and sort of as a narrative device, which was, very a seemingly small thing, but like ended up sort of having a really, really massive sort of knock-on effect. And also the assets here, sort of like, are some of them stock and some of them sort of you've designed?
So the environmental assets are from like other sources.
Yeah.
The only thing we designed it was the fishes and the turtles and the plastic waste. So we made like and
The train.
Oh, and the train. Those were like things we designed.
You're great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And just to give you a stage a little bit, because we talked about this like the very early morning, but the idea of all the projects is to use typography as the main engine. So typographic expression of something, right? And it's a very short and very steep, learning curve, for the project. This is week 12. So, but outside of the 11 weeks what we had prior to this, only 8 were for development of the project. So it was pretty challenging.
Very impressive story.
Yeah, because no programming experience, no preliminary experience with game engines. All this were accomplished by students in a very short period of time. Quite a challenge.
Alrighty, hi everybody. My name is Julian McKenzie. I'm a computer science major.
Hello, my name is Ramek Vishnevsky, and I am also a computer science major.
My name is Christina Campbell, and I'm a graphic design major.
And our project today is called In Transit. It is an experience based on the health and well-being sustainable goal in this class. And our sort of main focus is anxiety, and especially metropolitan anxiety. As you can see, just looking around, we're in a subway station, possibly the Chicago L. And this experience will take the audience through the experiences of an individual who struggles with anxiety on a particularly rough day. So without further ado, I guess let's get started.
So in the first scene,
The train is taking way too long.
if you look to your right, you're going to see people
What time is it?
talking, and it's supposed
I think
to
there's a clock
simulate
to my right.
average
There's
conversations
1:40.
that you see throughout a subway interaction.
So, as the voice prompt said, there's a clock to our right, and the train is running very late, so let's go take a look at the time here.
God, today's an important day. Very late. What if I miss something? What's everyone gonna say? I could get fired. The train is here. Thank God. I gotta get on board.
Right, so behind us, the train has arrived, and step on board, chaos ensues.
This is too much. My head is spinning. I need to find somewhere to sit down. Everything is out of my control.
So as you navigate through, you're gonna have to remove these words that are supposedly inside of your inner dialogue while you're thinking, walking through the train platform, trying to find a seat.
Okay, so Jimmy is doing an interaction of grabbing and tossing the words. We're going to quickly talk about our design process. So our design process consists of researching and exploring ideas, concepts that would best show the world and headspace of those with anxiety. We want to express that simple everyday problems such as being late for something will be easier for some to work through than those with anxiety. It's really hard for them to move forward and solve the issues within themselves. So the research portion of our design process consisted of researching the stage that one might go through when having anxiety attacks, such as the symptoms and the negative headspace, as the thoughts will take over. So taking what we've learned and communicating it through our virtual reality, we choose to emphasize on the transition from the openness of the subway station as the anxiety starts to seep in, and then that transition to inside the train with the overwhelming of the text as that liminal space. Lastly, a few words on the typography, since that was like my main focus. My main goal was to be very expressive in showing what the word represented. So I spent time exploring typefaces that will hold the same character and feel of the meaning behind the word.
So moving forward, we'll progress into another stage of anxiety attack, which is nausea and dizziness.
Everything is spinning. I'm so dizzy, and I can't breathe. I need to find somewhere to sit.
So now we're dealing with more nausea and bodily focused words as opposed to just general feelings of disease.
And as you go through, it's supposed to make it more difficult as you progress through the platform with the dizziness factor.
Jostle around these people now.
So again, with expressive type, like this one's claustrophobic, so the type is like very close together. So again, speaking on that expressive piece.
They sort of lean back
Finally,
to
some empty seats to
many
my left.
people also make
I think I can sit down.
they're a little bit dizzy because as the hardware allows, the actual head is what's being collided with. And so lean back and forth with them is actually almost easier to make it through the train. So we now find a place to sit, finally a safe space.
Ah, thank God. This is a much safer space to be in. But the thoughts in my head are still so loud. I need to reframe these. How can I change these sentences to make them more positive?
I actually like to open it up to you guys. These sentences right here, the 3 sentences, each of them have a piece, a word, or even a letter that will make them positive if we were to toss it out. So for the first sentence, I have no control over my thoughts. What's the negative piece of that sentence?
No.
No, right. So if we grab the word no, get that out of there, I have control of my thoughts. Now how about the next one? So let's toss that, and then I can't do this.
Apostrophe T.
Exactly. See?
I have control over my thoughts. I am okay. I can do this. Okay, let's give this one more shot. The train is taking way too long.
And now,
What
on
time
this
is
new
it?
platform, if you
I
look
think
to
there's a
your
clock
right
somewhere,
over
right?
here, you have
I should walk
words
forward.
of affirmation that now when you go through this train platform, you have more positive thoughts. And this is supposed to calm you down. And in the beginning, you heard all the chatter around you, which is supposed to give you the anxious feeling. And now you have words such as I am strong, anxiety doesn't define me, and I am calm.
And even though the thoughts have changed, the environment and the situation that you're in is still the same. As we can see, you're still late, but the situation can be changed just by your mindset alone, going into something and being prepared
God,
to
it is
handle
an
it.
important day. I'll be late. What if I miss something? What are people gonna... No, these thoughts don't belong in my head. Let's reframe this. I'm running late, but I can handle whatever comes my way today. It's going to be okay. I am okay.
And that is In Transit. Thank you guys very much.
Fantastic presentation. Thank you so much, for pointing out, about the typography and narrating, it's a story, right? But I want to congratulate you also because you are staying true, to this assignment, right? 99% of your everything, what you have is typography. And this is, a really hard to do, but you did very successful job by diversifying the, typography, justifying the positioning, right, and actually playing with it. I want to point out attention to all the guests that the person is actually an eye, so everything that you see is typography, truly, So fantastic work and really, really well accomplished. If you would be standing, you would be dizzy. So
Testing was very
We're
fun.
good, yes.
It was a lot more claustrophobic in the train as we were testing, and we were all like, okay, woo. So helped a lot to, most of our testing was comfort, even though the idea was to inspire discomfort via the dizziness. We had to crank it back a couple of times, because it got pretty disorienting. So thank you very much.
So what's your favorite part of the project? I mean, what scene or, moment, like now that you've done with it?
My favorite part personally was going through the train. I feel like the dizziness factor, when you have the glasses on, you're navigating through, it's sort of difficult to manage the words and try getting them off your screen. So that was like my favorite personal part of the project.
I think I enjoyed the reframing minigame, as that's the true technique for de-escalating anxiety attacks that we applied in this scenario. I liked that the claustrophobia all of a sudden backed off as the character found a safer space, and the idea of categorically reframing your thoughts inside of your head. I think I liked the way that we had to translate that to physical space.
Julia's thoughts. So I'm gonna find another one. I like the ending, like the sense of like trying to redo the whole day in like a more positive space, and also just the train. I just came. We got a little logo. So.
Which the ending was actually inspired by the instructors. The second to last week, they were like, "You did the reframe minigame. That feels great, but it just kind of ends. So why don't you let them go back and retry with a fresh perspective?" And I think that that point of inspiration tied the project together. So I'd like to actually thank the instructors for that as well.
Very good. Great work, and thanks for engaging the audience.
Absolutely.
Giving them the power to guess, and play and participate in this. This is really important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Julie.
Couple of notes. I thought the voice acting, whatever voice talent you have, was really effective. It was terrific. I mean, it really did add to
I'll start with the introductions. Like I'll say like my name is Megan, and then you can just do last name.
Also in the way that it looked like they sort of, when you get to the dizzy and nausea, you sort of mixed it up, right?
Also, a great use of 15th century technology. The kerning, right? Sort of like has historically sort of like been used to sort of like evoke affective responses. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys are all nerds, so you've heard of the burn units using sort of ice-based or snow-based video games to improve outcomes in burn patients. Because with really bad burns, sort of like much of the pain is actually super physiological, which is more than can actually be treated with medicine. And so outcomes have been dramatically improved by, particularly with children using sort of like snow-based video games. But interesting here is sort of like the use of this really old technology as a means of sort of like mitigating what seems to be sort of a modern phenomenon of mental health in cities. Great work.
Thank you.
everybody. My name is Anna Ramirez. I'm a graphic design major.
I'm Michelle Joe. I'm a computer science major.
And I'm Victoria Swerter, and I'm also a graphic design major. And our project is called Produce, Plant, or Purchase. So kind of our idea is we want to educate people on the dangers and of the GMOs, pesticides, and plastic waste that happens in the produce industry and basically like the grocery store industry in general. And we want to promote buying locally grown produce and farmers markets. So, yeah.
As you can see, once we enter our market, we have three choices. Which has good sales and as you can see, standard groceries or products there on the ground. Then we can go home your own farm slash and some of those. But there's a lot of sweets and sours happening on the left side, so I think we can go with that one. So as we enter, we see there's some info. You can shop our produce market. Everything is highly processed in factories, packed with preservatives, exposed to radiation, and it's all genetically modified to be larger and more colorful. And it's all on sale. So buy it now. So we can start by going on to this aisle and buying some GMOs with some beautiful carbon emissions, since most of our produce travels more than 1,500 miles to reach our grocery stores. This aisle, you can get some lovely pesticides in your groceries as well. There's plastic plates in the fridge. So you just go to the front. Try buying. Oh,
I'm just letting us proof it.
Okay, you go try that.
Or walk to the aisle.
That's okay. So we bought some of our GMO all through groceries, and maybe we want to try some homegrown farm fresh produce instead. And then transported to a much more calm, quiet environment, where we can buy some natural produce where you actually know what it is. So we can get some tomatoes, lovely, some carrots, okay, that's and we finally reach our home where we've planted a lemon tree where we can grow. And
We're going to grow our little lemon tree. It's a big lemon tree.
I think, is this the final version of it?
That's okay. There should be text that shows up, but that just kind of further enhances the benefits of buying locally grown produce or growing your own produce. But the main emphasis we wanted to make was that it's a very different environment, like a very loud grocery store compared to this very like serene scene, to kind of further persuade the audience that buying locally and shopping locally is best for not only our health but for the health of the environment as well. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. I mean, this visiting the supermarket is very aggressive and red colors and that aggressive lighting, and then entering up to the nice and pristine nature of the farm market. It really makes a huge difference in juxtaposition, just visually and viscerally, right? I think it works just by itself, and of course the message is very important. So what can you do to change the situation, right? The farmers markets are only in summer in Chicago, right? I don't think is there any solution for Chicagoans, What can you recommend people?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely hard living in a city because we don't have access to like more markets, and especially in like the colder months. But just being more aware of where your food comes from and where your produce comes from can be very beneficial for the environment and yourself.
I think after starting this project, it's not completely realistic to grow all your food or buy it all from farmers markets, but the idea was just to be more mindful of what we're consuming. So as we're at the grocery store, looking at those labels, being sure that we know what's in our food. Ever since I've been shopping after this project, I've been a little more guilty getting all that processed food. So I think just being aware is important as well.
There is a very interesting thing in Peggy Notebaugh Museum, Nature Museum. They teach little kids, about composting, So there are buckets of compost with little worms, right? And then you can put some organic, apple cores and whatever, leftovers of the veggies and fruit. And it takes 6 months, for those worms to, process that. So, and then they live in this bucket environment. So it really educates, how long it takes, how difficult it is, right? It's not that not everybody has it, but even in a small model, you can still have it even in an apartment, right? And just as long as you have a desire and understanding that this is what needs to be done, it's already a plus, right? Already a start of the change. So thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, great work.
I uploaded the latest version that I worked on. Did you download it from Anna's?
I let her know.
I downloaded it. So it was in the box. Okay. And then, yeah, in our documentation.
I asked her about it, and then she said we could chat to her after class to figure it out. But like the updated like stuff was there.
Yeah. That's it. But the interactions that I
Yeah, so there's like the ones like still working. Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, like I sent you guys the video. So
The engine is the same. Is it
Yeah, for like a grave. I forgot that part. Yeah.
Like we should have.
Okay, so our team name is aquaculture, and we chose life underwater. And the main objective of the project is to kind of like the explore and how the human waste is negatively affecting life underwater, and this aims to like kind of bring awareness to that.
So what we do here is we walk up to the plastic, and then what we try doing is just point towards the plastic. So for example, if you walk over to the plastic, you get stuck to it. So you just grab it, just walk towards the bin, and then you can just go and go back to the plastic. You try to get stuck again, and
So in this project, we're going to be like dealing with 3 different types of pollution. And the first interaction that you're seeing right now is plastic pollution. And the goal here is to dispose of all the plastic before you move over to the next stage.
path is clear, you can progress on to the next stage.
So this is a vacuum, and then we just absorb all the chemicals, and then we switch off the burn. So oh yeah. This should be the last Naples limitation. So the chemicals come towards the vacuum and then they get absorbed and destroyed.
It's just a represent like a simplified version of cleaning up chemicals in the ocean.
Okay, nice.
Now that that's done, we can go to the third stage of the project.
Yes. Okay. This is off the ground. And then starts pumping out the chemicals.
And that concludes our project.
Thanks a lot. Glad to see everything accomplished. You saw the vacuum, you saw the drill, right? But
yeah.
Now we can see it together. And what was the most challenging moment here, when you worked on it?
Probably the box collider for the bin.
For the bin?
Yeah.
Yeah, disposing the plastic is probably the hardest interaction to deal with.
Not grabbing, but actually dropping it.
Yeah,
right?
because we're using multiple buttons at the same time. So yeah, that was very hard.
Right, good to see it worked out. Suggestions?
The vacuum was really good. I haven't seen that part yet. There's kind of a humor to that as well. You had to shake it to get it all.
Yeah, and then we have to keep tapping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was intentional.
Yeah.
Should get the vacuum sound.
But yeah,
Dyson
there
vacuum.
should be a background sound, I think. A bit quieter for some reason. Yeah, it should be louder.
Okay, good work. Thank you so much.
It's a loud power.
So our project is called Get Rich Quick. My name is Noah and I'm in CS.
Z and I'm a student.
I'm doing good. I'm not a CS student.
So for our project, it's about poverty. So basically, our idea we kind of created 4 different rooms, and in 3 of the rooms we will show some problems that the people who live in poverty have, and including the environment and the people and families and the daily life. And for the last room, is about the world without poverty. And we use sparkling elements to illustrate the road's impact to partially back poverty as a person and how difficult life can be.
We're going to go into this room and the question that we have for this room is what is the poverty one? Once you walk in, there's a lot of negative text that you have to avoid.
when you walk in here, we have factory noises around us, and more negative text. Over here, we are picking up the garbage and throwing it away. We pick up all the garbage, and then we walk forward, and then the text says, I wish for a cleaner environment. And then this text is like shivering, it's like, it's so cold outside. Basically, trying to find a place to live and proper like, living conditions for people. And then as we approach, we can read approximately 2,097 children under 5 die every year from diseases due to poor sanitation or hygiene or unsafe drinking water. You get transported back, and then this room, it says in question, how many people face food insecurity? So the effect in this room is that you grab the negative text and throw it off the screen. Not enough drinking water. This store is basically to represent like empty stores, like food deserts. For example, in Chicago, there's a lot of food deserts in the south side. We want to represent that. Sometimes drinking water is unsafe for places affected mostly by poverty. And then it says 258 million people face food insecurity. Okay, transport it back. We're just putting it in the main rooms. Yeah, so what would a world without poverty look like? Maybe into this room. It's a clean environment, drinking water is safe to drink. And then we have crops and there's more food for people that need it. And just more livelihood than other rooms.
Thank you so much. Glad to see it all together, and I really like how your project takes, expands in all directions, without any exception, right? Like we go back, we go left, right, forward, all the space is taken by the possibilities and opportunities. So glad to see it all done, and the final scene also looks much more complete and with the sound. So what was the most challenging moment, for you when you worked on the project? Maybe a scene or just the
We had like 6 weeks of like GitHub merge conflicts that like took up almost all of our time.
I think we spent like, there was one day where we sat like for like 10 hours trying to just like get the project to load. I mean, for our knows because we spent a lot of time with them. But
did you find out what was causing merge conflicts or why it wouldn't load?
No. What we ended up doing was just like
manually uploading it to the box.
And once it was done, it was okay, right?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it plays very smoothly, actually. Because there are no special effects, right? Everything is most of it is typography, which is also, I think, a strength, right? Easy to see. But yeah, successfully accomplished despite all this like long journey with the merge and with the GitHub, right? Was it the GitHub or was it
Yeah.
the blue one?
GitHub was the
GitHub,
problem.
yeah. All right, but glad to see it all done, and yeah, congratulations. Yeah, Julie.
Congratulations on that project. I have one question. I'm curious about the title, which, get rich quick, and how do you come up with that, and how do you imagine it being related to? I mean, I would have thought something like poverty line would have been so strong, since that's like sort of graphic component across several of the scenes too. So just curious about the title.
I think actually what ended up happening was our idea had changed. So originally the way we had it was like, we would go into each room and collect like a key, and then after we had all 3 keys, which then would look like little dollar signs, it would unlock the last rooms. But then we switched over to like it being something where we go into each room and having different interactions instead of collecting each of those keys. So it doesn't make sense. You're right.
But, poverty line would be a great title for this. So it would be.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Selena Mut. I am a computer science major.
And my name is Fabian. I'm a computer science major as well.
Alright, so our project named Pure, it was inspired by the name, by the UN sustainability concept of the clean water and sanitation, and it's built on Unity across platform game engine.
Our project embraces the modern technology of magnetic carbon nanotubes. The nanotubes start a chemical reaction when they come in contact with microplastics. In return, the chemical reaction turns the microplastics into water-soluble molecules. The molecules are harmless to the environment, and the nanotubes themselves were modified from a previous model to make the chemical reaction environmentally friendly. In our project, technology is portrayed as a standard magnet that is easily recognizable by the general public to make it familiar. In this scene, we walk in the ocean floor and eliminate plastics that are represented by typography to mimic what the technology does.
Okay, so first of all, I will apologize because I didn't realize that I left the Latin and then until yesterday we practiced, and then the reason that I asked her to play like after we present it, because like the letter's gonna start falling down. So right now we're in the ocean, and we're gonna keep moving to the magnet, which is our solution in order to make the water clean. So as you can see, it's really dark in here because like we think that we're in the ocean, like underneath the ocean. So it's not really easy like to see the letter or like all the plastic waste as the typography is kind of represented. So until right now we get to the okay, so right now, so we reach the magnet. So we're gonna grab the magnet. So after grabbing the magnet, we're gonna go to all the letter, which is the plastic truss and like the waste. So we have to attack all the letter. So that is gonna make all the ocean clean. And we just need to keep moving, attach it one by one because it's kind of like the same thing if we do in the ocean, and then like grabbing the magnet to attach all the letter. It's kind of like there is a group of people or like a person is doing it instead of like throwing off any other solution, because we think that this solution is going to be like the better solution in order to clean the ocean, to make the ocean clean. So we're gonna start like doing it like one by one, wrapping it, attaching it.
And as soon as we clean out or get rid of all the typography, the scene lights up, so it would be portrayed as the emotion for
So the way that we make the letter drop into the ocean, so it's kind of like certain people, also most people, are gonna throw a lot of the garbage into the ocean because like they don't know how important it is to make the ocean clean. And the reason that we make all the typography, just like spread them out in the like the area that we made, because when we think that they're not gonna throw all of them like in one place. It's just like you're gonna throw it like wherever that you want. So it's gonna take us like a little bit, and in order to clean off that.
Behind.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really hard to see because of the brown. I think that is.
There's one. Yeah. Have to jump. So Fabian, if you sit down, just sit down. You know, I think you can see it. See that? Or maybe just take goggles and put like this.
Just throw it.
I think probably it was stuck on the rack, so that's why it didn't come out. And it's really hard for us like to grab the knife and all that to trim it. Sorry about that.
On the partnership.
I think that is all.
Yeah, that's our project.
All right. Thanks for explaining the scientific theory, right, and practice behind the microplastic cleaning and with the magnet. So it's reality. Hopefully, somebody will be inspired by it. Ideally, of course, it would be nice to have some kind of tracking mechanism, right, to track the plastic. But you know, that's the future. You know, surely projects like this can, inspire ideas and push it forward. Great work with lighting. So I'm glad to see, the beginning scene. That's the first time I saw that opening. It looked, really picture-like. Just a very nice, setup in the beginning, accomplishment. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add, like, the opening scene really set the tone, like for this one and actually for the last one as well. You really kind of already felt the emotion of what you wanted to present before you even kind of got started into the game.
And I'm just glad to see that a lot of life underwater and clean water and sanitation. So a lot of concepts in class, were inspired by each other as they were developing the work, right? looking at each other's water, looking at each other's solution for corals and, typography, right? So, and I think in your case, it's a juxtaposition of typography as a sort of pollution of the world, right? And everything else is very natural. But glad to see it all done, really, really came out at the end, very good method. Yes. All right. And we have a break. So.
How long is our break?
Yeah, we got one. Wait, she's so fun.
We have a break.
Oh.
Of course. So, thank God.
Oh, no, this is the last one, and we're going back to the last one.
We're not taking a break. Yeah, we're not taking a break. No, we're not taking a break.
I think so.
So, our project is and pretty much going to go through a series of environments that will change throughout the course of the path, and pretty much just try to get the point across that fossil fuels are bad and more renewable energy sources are good.
Yeah, basically we just go through a cityscape and get to see it change over time as things get cleaned up, trash gets picked up, energy sources are replaced with more renewable sources.
So, walking in here, you might ask yourself, do I want to live here? There's coal power plants, there's dirty trash everywhere. People in these houses are miserable. Walk through. And this is the city with the fossil fuels as the main source of the main source. So in this next section, these fossil fuel plants are being replaced by more renewable resources, and you can help clean up the streets by clicking on each of the piles of trash on the street. See how the construction happening, things are being improved little by little. Trash is being displaced. As we approach the next one, there's a very cleaner environment and definitely more breathable. Flowers, there's no fossil fuel sources of energy. It's all powered by wind. And you can also plant trees where you decide. So put a tree there. And keep walking. One tree over here. Simple trees. It should only be one. It was only one. But yeah, so just a couple trees in a row that were yeah, that's much it. That's it.
All right. So if you would have more time, let's say you have another I don't know, months or a few what would you add, ideally? Because it was a very short period of time, right? Do you have any ideas that you could not really just because of a lack of time to?
Some more functionality, perhaps, to the center section. Actually transforming the world little by little. Maybe adding some more sections even, or instead of having good, better, or sorry, like bad, better, good. It'd be like
More
bad,
gradual transition,
gradual,
right?
yeah. Instead of it being very like.
And more active, right?
Yes,
With more
yes.
agency.
More actively like see the transition.
Not just the passive journey through, but like actually doing something and gradually transforming as we move forward.
Correct. Yes.
It's interesting how the green always associates with the pond, right? At the end. Not yellow, not red, but the green. So, but yeah, glad to see it, all together. Obviously can work more on that, but I think, just for a short period of time, this is a good start.
Who did the color design?
We all worked on it.
It looked great.
So
I really like the color.
Yeah, we really try to make it as disgusting as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the transitions, like sort of like the three separate sort of like color palettes that you guys use. Really,
yeah. We tried to make it 3 palettes so you can really tell that it's a first. Yeah, make it sense.
Now that I'm seeing it, actually, I'm wondering, and to respond to your question, what if we start with a positive and kind of slowly move toward more polluted environment? Would the message be stronger?
That would, yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever read the Oz books. It's like not just the Wizard of Oz, but it's sort of it's the Wizard of Oz and Return to the Land of Oz, and sort of like things actually do that exactly. Sort of like they go from normal to yellow brick road to like green apocalyptic. Literally, that's that's exactly what it does. Really creepy, but good.
I think it's really good, so take a note of that, because when you write your paper, you want to have references and inspirations from literature. So this would be a really good reference for you,
sure,
right, as you move forward with documentation, right? So which we all do after it.
There's a film. I'm gonna find the name as well.
So the article.
Yeah. So Return to Oz is the film. The one that goes. It's dark, but the visual language will be a very useful reference.
I think that's a great suggestion. Yeah. So definitely take a note. Thank you all. All right. Thank you so much. And that concludes our exhibition. So we're supposed to have a food delivery. We're gonna go back. We can't eat in a cave, but we're gonna go back to Continuum, outside of Continuum, and I would like to open a space for discussion and questions and answers, and just talk to each other, talk to classmates, talk to guests, right? So let's go there all together. You can return the glasses to the discard container. 1 second, we'll find this.
Good. I think next week. Yeah, try to do next week.
No, I feel like we've been chatting virtually.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. This is working. It's so proud of you guys. Can you just speak?
Glasses, you have it already? Does anyone need glasses? We're all good? Very careful about the screen. If need be, please feel free to stand more forward. Thank you.
I thought I had that very much. I thought I had more room in the car.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. It's good. Nothing happened. All right, so I am going to get the professor here. All right. I just have to move this. Otherwise, yes, the Zoom will jump. So.
All right.
Welcome everyone. We're the first project. We are mindfulness and meditation. My name is Zachary Robbins. I am a 5th year in computer science.
And my name is Kyra McKay. I'm a 3rd year graphic design major.
My name is Victoria Torres, and I'm a 5th year graphic design major. And the goal of our project is to combat inequities in education for students with disabilities, especially those with ADHD. It's made for students between 4th and 8th grade, and it's supposed to supplement them by helping them learn and practice organizational skills as well as dealing with negative self-talk and anxiety and panic attacks. Another use for this experience is that it will provide unbiased research on mindfulness, on the practice of mindfulness, and the effects that that has on the students, academic performance of students with disabilities.
Okay, so this is our first scene where we're in the classroom setting, and the user is presented with their backpack, and upon opening the backpack, it unleashes these negative self-talk words or phrases where it's like, you can't do this, you're not good enough, just things that sometimes a person with disabilities or even specifically ADHD could sometimes say about themselves and be in this state of self-deprecation, I guess you could say, and where they feel they're not good enough. So
I know it seems like a lot, but you must find a way to organize the chaos. Before that, let's get back to a level-headed space.
And upon doing this, it leads you to the next room, and in this room is a simple meditation breathing exercise where it allows them to clear their mind, get rid of the negative words, and helps them create this clear space.
Take deep breaths, center yourself, and it will make everything clearer. Raise your arms when you inhale and down to your sides when you exhale.
So the mechanic for this would be for the user to move their arm and for the words to shrink. So I don't know, it's not working. Is there something we're not doing right?
Yeah, no. The button presses are not working as they should be. portion. Would it be possible to restart the sketch just in case that fixes it?
I have some time, but
I do have another question. Is there a way, like a backup, to be able to move to the next part?
No.
Okay. I can relaunch it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it shouldn't take too long to get back to this spot, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Yeah, it's weird that it's growing just fine.
hey, Ron, good to see you. Hey, come on in. I was just announcing that you will be online, so
Oh, yeah,
Ron is the IBM person, and I'm using your camera to record.
Hey guys.
And he's
Finally
going to be
made
the
it.
one who will be sending you your badges, the IBM badges.
Yes. So I can only issue them, but go and accept it. Then only you can get it, okay? So looking forward to all the presentations, whatever is left.
Thanks for joining. Yeah, that's great. We're right on time.
Way to organize the chaos. Before that, let's get back to a level-headed space. Take deep breaths, center yourself, and it will make everything clearer. Raise your arms when you inhale and down to your sides when you exhale.
Yeah, so I'm not taking the inputs. Well, what is supposed to happen at this scene is that the way it's supposed to work is that as you bring your arms to your sides and you inhale, the inhale would be focused on and the words would grow smaller. And then in addition to that, you would also have it so that you put your hands down as you exhale, and you would also decrease. But the thing is that in order to prevent hyperventilating, as you can see, the one functioning mechanic is that once you do a full inhale-exhale cycle, then what will happen is that will grow larger to just prevent you from, inhale, exhale, and then sort of force you to really focus on controlled breathing. Now, unfortunately, we are in a state where we cannot get past this unless we do this, so, yeah.
Can we go to the calendar?
We can't because it's blocked by that door.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the idea, why don't you talk about the idea? Why did you choose inhale and exhale and scaling, which is, quite new, right? Nobody's done it before. So why did you choose this mechanism, to represent what?
Well, the reason why we chose this mechanism is that it's a rather direct metaphor in a sense that it's sort of supposed to help represent how important controlled breathing can be to sort of getting a grip back on your reality, to be able to use future coping mechanisms. For example, beyond that door would be a calendar that you would have to click and drag words to rearrange in order to make a proper schedule. But in order to even do those things, you first have to worry about breathing because of the fact that, because of the fact that you can't really do much unless you're really in a good headspace in order to do so.
Right. And how is breathing relevant to the concept that you choose?
The reason why it's relevant, it's a very direct connection in the sense that, how do I describe it?
It's a very well-practiced form of meditation. Yeah. It's common, but it is useful. And just because our project also focuses on mindfulness, being aware of how you feel and what's going on around you. So it's like Zach said, you can't do work if you have these negative feelings about yourself and what work you're doing too. So it's also the word shrink is smaller, which is why the clear space is physical as well.
Don't mind me trying to glitch through my own wall. Darn, I cleared it too well.
And that's what the breathing, that would be what the breathing exercise was. And the calendar is implementing what, now that you have this clear space, start to do work and start to progress.
And the idea is that it empowers, right, the CPS student or anyone, right, who is in an educational situation close to this, where it feels trapped, helpless, right, and unable to function because of the negative thoughts and the feeling of anxiety that, really, prevents any growth or any learning process.
Yeah. And there would have been words to replace these negative self-talk, where it's like, you're capable, I accept my differences, I'm want to learn and study more, just to like come back now that you are better and you've done the calendar exercise, you have the practice of trying to move forward. Now you're in this clear headspace and you're back in the classroom and you're able to keep going. And this by no means is the perfect way for anybody with disabilities or ADHD, but this is the steps to move forward with it, or a way to help them where to, not a lot of people have access to therapy, or certain medicines don't work for everybody. So this is the way to do it in a small, simple way where you can even do this out in real life too, not only with the VR.
All right. Sounds really good. Well, thank you so much.
You can probably record it later on.
Yeah. Yeah. We are somewhere.
You okay? It's very short. Yeah. Very
A new day means a new list of chores to complete.
Our project is clean pineapple products. The team members are Isaac, who is the programmer. The designers are me, Crystal Hunter, and Julia Cooper. Our background concept is our youth and sustainable development goal is clean water and sanitation. This project highlights the harm that traditional cleaning products can have on our waterways by taking the user through the seamless harmless ways to class. The purpose of this project is to expose people to the devastating effects that many traditional soaps and cleans can have on our water quality while also promoting and demonstrating safer alternative cleaning products. In this case, made from pineapple scraps that can help ensure access to both sanitation and clean water for all. We've researched cleaning products like laundry detergent and soap carry contaminants like 1,4 and nitrogen into our sewer system. Many wastewater treatment plants are equipped to remove these hazards. Food wire founded by Lee J. in Vietnam uses pineapple scraps along with sugar for fermentation and other units to create clean products. They contain enzymes that help fight bacteria, while also lacking the harsh chemicals found in other products that can cause conditions like eczema and asthma. Our solution is by switching to natural cleaning products by switching to natural cleaning products, we can help reduce pollution. Many conventional cleaning products use harsh chemicals such as phosphorus, nitrates, ammonia, and chlorine. These speed up algal growth, creating a harsh environment for underwater life. These chemicals also severely contaminate our drinking water by using products made from natural sources like pineapple. We can help keep our waterways clean and help keep clean water environments. Our project demonstrates the basis of co-creating detergent with pineapple scraps.
So we start off with like a giant screen saying, buy now, buy this new stronger cleaner. It's like an advertisement for hazardous cleaner. And our first interaction is cutting up a pineapple. And we're going to take this scrap later on. And when you cut it up, you see fish spawn in their line. They're doing well.
It's nice to see these fish up and about. Well, I guess I gotta go on to giving my dog a bath.
And when you use like the dog shampoo with like the hazardous cleaner, dead fish start to spawn, showing how bad for the environment.
That's not good. Hope the fish are okay.
The next cleaning person is to wash clothes with traditional detergent. As you can see, it releases negative chemicals into the atmosphere and the algae breathe in that.
What's happening? All I do is wash my clothes with this detergent.
And the next one, when you use the dish soap, wash the dishes. The dead fish and the algae from earlier gets bigger, clouding your vision to fully show how bad it is and how bad they can get.
It's these cleaners, isn't it? I should have paid attention to the chemicals that are inside them. I heard that natural cleaners are way better. Maybe I can use these pineapple scraps to make something that's actually good for the environment.
Next, we're gonna take those pineapple scraps from the beginning when we cut up our pineapple, and we're gonna mix that together with water and sugar. And we're gonna let it ferment for 3 months in order to create a natural foam. So we just take like all 3, mix them together. First we mix like the water and the sugar together. Then we mix the pineapple scraps. Then we let that wait for 3 months. And then we get our pineapple cleaner.
I'll try using this pineapple cleaner to finish up those chores I got.
And then when we use this to wash the dishes. You see fish spawn again, but this time they're alive. And you see that the background is not that green, murky color anymore to show how it's a lot cleaner for the environment and it's
Okay, thank you. I want to congratulate you on attention to details. You know, all these intricate pieces of sculpture, the dishwasher, the machine, the laundry machine, the sink, the table, the saw, the drill, the mixer, right? The pineapple, everything was designed with typography, and I think you really perfected that in the best sense. And really nice to see the direct connection to environment, right? Like whatever you do, the daily actions, you know, can actually help to save, you know, the environment in a long term and short term as well, immediately. So thanks for doing that. Anyone chime in? Anyone you want to say? Just feel free to say something, you know. So this is not a discussion, which is just, you know, a celebration, I think, of the. All right, thank you so much.
Also, if you guys can, please project as you're presenting so that even people in the back can be able to hear you. as we speak.
Okay. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly excited to kick things off and introduce you to our incredible project, Fast Trash. We live in a world where our actions have a real impact on the planet, and it's high time we did something about it. So today we've got our fantastic team, designer Saja Abu designer Iriam Garcia, and designer Salma Abdelhadi, who are putting our creative minds and to work on this project and make it as cool as it's eco-friendly. The Fast Trash VR project is aligned with Sustainable Goal 12 to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. It addresses the issue of excessive waste in the fast fashion industry. Did you know that around 215 trillion liters of water per year are consumed by this industry? Textile overproduction really has a massive negative environmental impact, including greenhouse gas emissions and water waste. So that's now of our VR project, educate users. It's gonna start with immersing the user in an overwhelming landfill setting and provide solution to tackle inefficient mechanical textile recycling through the alternative, chemical recycling. Modeled after chemical recycling systems created by companies like Warnagan Technologies, the Fast Trash VR engages the user in a process of depolymerizing used blended textile fibers that are typically non-recyclable, returning them to their original quality. This VR experience aims to encourage more sustainable choices, support the circular economy, ultimately create a more environmentally friendly world. So for right now, just get ready to be inspired by the work of our design team.
Me and Saja are going to be the ones navigating. So the users begin surrounded by an overwhelming amount of texture. In this environment, where we come across typographical texture palette in our path, and we have to decide whether or not to burn the file in order to continue forward. So the user chooses whether they want to burn, and if the user clicks no, 2 additional typographical textures will file, and we have to decide now. So I click yes, we cause the rocks to appear for the user, which they use the laser to spark and set a fire in the landfill. Smoke begins to cloud the user in the vision, and you see a bunch of flames. Ultimately, this is a bad choice, but it is the fastest and the most used to get rid of a lot of clothes. And then the user was walked through the toxic gases. We see a lot of N2Os and SO2s floating along the path. And then we see like the user keeps walking, and we see the liter of water. So each of these jugs reveals how much water it takes to create shirts. So we have like 2,700 liters in t-shirts, and then we keep walking, and we have 8,000 liters to make pants. We have 10,850 liters in leather bags. And then the user comes across the chemical recycling plant, and after walking through the jugs, the user must complete a fill in the blank instruction in order to realize the solution for themselves. The complete phrase is, so we can see chemical recycling plant. Okay. Then user is able to go through it. Now the environment is cleared. We don't see any more smoke. So the first task of the textile typographical is separating the textures. So this is making what we would have to do. So there's a lot of clothing that are mixed with polyester and cotton and leather, and we are going to separate it in order to chemically recycle it better. And then we're going to clean each by pushing each. The user is going to push each letter to clean each, like the wool, we're going to push the O to make it, in a sense, we're making it spell better, so it's like cleaning each fabric.
Purifying these textiles, which is like kind of the second step.
The second step, which is the same thing if we're still mimicking the purification process of the textures.
As we walked through to this step, you could notice that a lot of the type in the environment, which represents the textile piles, fell through to the floor, so they disappeared as you do these actions.
It's a bit hard. Okay. And then we're finally going to the final step, the wheel. So this is when we actually recycle each. All the fabrics are clean and ready to be used. So the user then goes and puts each fabric in the wheel to make the new item. And as you can see your surroundings, all the letters are falling, so we're cleaning each. Here we see the final item falling.
So this is like kind of the spinning of the fibers that would have been depolymerized through this chemical recycling process, and eventually you could create new clothes that are matching the
And then we have our final. By chemically recycling, you have helped preserve 4% of the world's freshwater use annually in the textile industry. You can see positive words.
and open like water-filled environments represents the soil that we say.
Wonderful journey, and I want to congratulate you on a masterful use of textures, to represent different textile and typography, with the industry, and also being very creative about this, interaction, different sorts of, wheels, right, and proposing those solutions that, really can help the environment. The question to you is, on the daily basis, like what can we do? What people can do to help the cause? Obviously recycling the clothes, but like, is there anything else that you suggest, in our daily life that, involving new habits maybe, or shortcuts, right, to really alleviate, the burden of this things that are going on with the fast fashion industry.
I mean, ideally, this chemical recycling process would become more accessible to like the average person. So like companies would be able to actually put out like recycling bins that aren't just like, oh, donation, which usually things that get donated to places like Goodwill or just like these donation centers, a lot of them don't get used. They either get sent to the landfill or just, if they don't really get bought or reused, as would this process help to do to a lot of clothing items. In our regular lives, I think just being more conscious of what we buy and understanding that
obviously clothes that are like long lasting or that we like keep for longer is better for the environment than like feeding into the fast fashion industry, which is just pushing out new clothes all the time, buy, and we know that that's not beneficial for the environment. So on the individual level, just like educating yourself, knowing how to repair and mend your own items is a great thing as well, and just to take care of what you have so that they become long lasting and we don't have to have these massive landfills of textiles in the first place.
Right. And being more careful with your clothing, right? And then maybe buying secondhand, not necessarily always new, but buying the clothing that people can share, right? And then sort of recycle in that way, right? So yeah, great project. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Our group is Clean Choice, and it's a topic on affordable clean energy. My name is
Observe
Shan.
and experience what will happen when we use fossil fuels.
My name is Sharon Hung. I'm a graphic design major, third year.
And my name is Insel Ko, also from graphic design.
Yeah, so we all know the current state of the planet with its climate change and how our poor choices of continuously using forms of non-renewable energies like fossil fuels, greenhouse gas emissions, along with natural gases like fossil fuels and other greenhouse forms are impacting our environment. In this project, our goal is to show that it causes money to buy renewable energy, and although we want to make changes to make the environment more sustainable and eco-friendly, we have to invest our money and spend our money towards buying those renewable energies. So when the player in this game enters into the blue city, the lights turn off, and then it shows that there's no energy and energy needs to be created. So those fossil fuels are thrown into the water to create that energy. You can see that it's producing greenhouse gases. We can't do we describe it.
Our environment is currently in a crisis state, and the main reason for that is the burning of fossil fuels for energy. The effect of this is global warming, which is harmful to the environment. They also are limited, which means they aren't sustainable enough for the long-term future of our environment.
And then here, the player is allowed to enter into this teleportation to make a choice to make renewable energy. And as the player enters through the path, the sky will turn gradually
To
lighter.
clean the city, wave out the greenhouse gases, and break down the old power plants.
And then it's gonna, just like it says, it's gonna use coins to purchase or create new form of renewable energy, break down the old forms.
Find the coins to build a new system, solar panels, wind turbines, and hydropower dam.
Then, as the new form of energies are being produced, you can see the environment changing with green grasses, the trees, the flowers, and also the sound of the birds and the wind. So ultimately, the idea is that tossing coins shows that you actually have to purchase renewable energy to have access and to actually transform the environment to make it more sustainable. And it's going to explain about the solution.
There are many sustainable sources of energy, such as hydropower dams, wind turbines, solar panels, and biomass that can be used as the source of the renewable energy. At the moment, renewable energy is slowly rising every year, with solar energy contributing to the increase the most.
And towards the end of the game, the viewer is asked to make a choice to go back or to stay. So the whole point of this game is that it's because of the user's choice that it's able to transform the environment to make it a better place. That's the end.
I want to congratulate you on expressiveness of your typography. You know, like as we approach the project, you know, it's a very friendly motor. You know, it almost looks like a character, like a human figure with the eyes, like a little cartoon. You know, just touching it will go alive. And then the city, right? The sort of industrialization, and then the liveliness of the trees. You know, everything created with typography. So you really brought it to a new level. And another feature of your project, which is extremely inspiring, is that it goes along with the lines of the motto of Miss Wonderov, less is more, right? You can see the city created only with 4 characters, right? And everything is very minimal, but very precise, very expressive, very powerful, because, you know, it takes the focus of attention, right? And you really brought it to a new level with VR, so I want to congratulate you on that. Really good, inspiring project.
So awesome. I will watch it later on. Yeah, that's great. They'll come tomorrow and pick it up. All that. And then thank you so much.
Pick up, guys. Watch the stuff later on. I don't put it here, right? Oh, you. Okay.
All right. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Ron.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's me. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephanie. I'm a graphic design major. This is Queen. She's a graphic design major, and this is Michelle. She's a computer science major. And today we're showcasing our project, Microplastics. It's fantastic. And this project is centered on a sustainable development goal by Full Water. So basically, microplastics are found in all of the world's seas, from the surface to the deep sea, and even in remote locations. They're nearly everywhere in aquatic settings. Microplastics are small plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in size that are found in the ocean and other bodies of water. These microplastics can come from a variety of sources, and their presence in the marine environment has generated concerns of the potential harm they can do to marine ecosystems. Our project, Microplastics, It's Fantastic, is a virtual reality experience that educates people on the
plastics on the ocean and marine life. This experience also draws attention to the various ways in which we, as beings living above water, can support the ecosystem that affects marine life and ultimately us.
Okay, so as you can see, the user enters the scene and being introduced is a text, "You are now a fish." So here we basically want to introduce the severe situation of microplastic being released into the ocean through various sources, thus resulting in a large amount of fishes as well as other sea creatures to mistake it for food and consuming it. The user in our project will start off as a fish, and as we navigate, we can see that there's nothing that can possibly be considered food. So as a user, through the perspective of the fish, the user will try to eat a piece of microplastic in order to survive.
And as you eat one microplastic, it will pop up the fact that introducing how harmful it is to the environment. So now I'm going to move on to like the second piece of plastic.
So we implemented the action of the fish trying to eat the microplastic and incorporating the sounds we can hear for a more realistic experience. We want to spread awareness about how harmful the microplastic are to the marine life with the information popping up. Also to indicate how harmful microplastic is. As you may notice, the environment dims down as we demonstrate that the fish is now getting sicker and sicker because it's consuming the microplastic. So as we come to the end of our path, the user sees the teleport cube and the sign that says "Think of the ocean view." So the user will go past the transparent door and see what is waiting on the other side.
Is happening the same thing in the testing where the filter is not showing up. I can go through the board again. Okay, so what is supposed to happening is as you're entering the door, a new introductory text will pop up and you will be introduced with the solution which you can grab and clean up the ocean. But we have the same problem in the caves testing too as we teleport back and the introductory text not popping up. So we're gonna retry again. This time we're just gonna go towards the end of the path and see what's happening.
So as you can see now the user is starting the path again, while the environment is still dark with a new role. This time you're human and they'll perform the action of collecting the microplastic. You can also see that there's a filter on the side which the user can grab and start collecting. So as the user navigates and collects the trash, the environment will begin to lighten up and start to resume its originality. Meanwhile, positive facts will pop up with a purpose to spread awareness of how much our actions will contribute to the environment. So this is the end of the path and also the end of our project. We can see the conclusion here that says it's up to us in our collective, consistent effort to reduce our reliance on plastic and protect our oceans and marine life for future generations.
Microplastic is not a simple problem that cannot be solved in one day or two. It takes consistent effort for each individual and community to help preserve the environment. There are numerous solutions that have been introduced to help counter this particular problem, but the most familiar solution is a handheld filter, which is the one we chose to use in our project. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm glad to see the both parts, of the project, because we tested them, one by one, right? We saw the filter, then we saw this, and now it all came together. The path, the environment, everything, and typography is very detailed and very carefully crafted, So really a huge thanks for that. And then the filter itself is it's an important concept, right? Because microplastic, in your opinion, I don't know, give us a comparison maybe, or if you know anything about this, is it the microplastic or an actual plastic, which is the major problem or the bigger problem?
So this model is actually made by an in-life model, like a realistic model of a handheld microplastic. There has been a group of scientists who are trying to conduct on how to clean up the ocean in a much wider range, as in implementing some kind of machine that attached to both. So as they're going around, they're collecting the microplastic. But I guess I wanna implement on a more individual size, as in each of our action as an individual can help to preserving the ocean. Not technically by using this particular filter, but by reducing the amount of plastic that we use in daily life, and also whenever you come to the ocean or under the water, if you can help picking up the microplastic on the surface for them not to degrading into smaller particle, it would be helpful as well. There could be larger, much wider implementation that we could do, but I guess I'm just gonna focus on each individual effort and how each of them can contribute a consistent effort in a community to have preserved this problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Was the quality education, and we believe that the whitewashing in classrooms throughout the country is not being taken into account, and basically all of the history, such as lynching and civil rights and the Holocaust, is being barely talked about or just not covered at all because of the whitewashing that is happening in our system. And even though a lot of state legislators are trying to create legislation to tackle this issue, inevitably it is up to the school whether or not it is in the curriculum to teach this and how to go about doing so. I'm Sam. I'm a graphic design major.
I'm Annika. I'm a CSM design major.
And I'm Anna. I'm a graphic design major. Alright, so starting off, we are in a library setting with the words history surrounding us in between the shelves. You can see these large words for representing different pieces of history that aren't talked about a lot. And upon moving towards the book, we are going to get a word that says, or a message that says, save the words. The words are moving frantically, and there's an alarm going off. Once we move closer, there is a drastic change where you have large words that are blocking the words that we saw earlier. A bunch of fire all around us. Words that are describing why there's fire, or what people say to have specific topics not talked about in classrooms. So our first interaction that we can do is we can move some of these words out of the way just so that we can be less crowded in this small space. Our second thing we want to do is we want to get rid of this fire. So we have a fire extinguisher in front of us, and if we walk into it, it clears the fire. But now we have these words that we've had previously that are now broken. So what we need to do now is we need to reassemble the words.
And the chains of discrimination.
On reassembling the words, we get different topics for each. So for the Holocaust, we have Anne Frank.
In the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity, 100 years later.
Then for lynching, we have Emmett Till.
The Negro is still languished in the corners of American society.
Each word has an example of an event or something to then go back into our history books.
In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration,
and with that, our history book is.
They were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promissory.
Wonderful. Congratulations, it's a very hard topic, very important one. And as you rightfully was saying, not really underexplored and under promoted and under implemented, in the curriculum. So this is all going on right now. So hopefully this is a good example of how to approach and why it's important and why it can show, from the world of typography point of view, also just unique method of demonstrating it through the typography only. Really good work, really came together very well at the end, and just congratulations on being persistent, with every single detail that you want to implement, you eventually accomplish, Glad to see that. Yeah, good work.
Hello everyone, I'm Katie Schmitz. I'm a graphic design student here at UIC. Welcome to City Improvement Movement. Today with me I have my teammates Alex Bonilla, a computer science student at UIC, and Philip.
Which aliens?
Okay. Who's also a graphic design student here at UIC. In today's world, over half the population resides in urban areas. And although cities are huge drivers of economic growth, they're also huge contributors of global greenhouse gas emissions, contributing about 70% of that every single year, even though they only take up about 3% of Earth's land mass. City Improvement Movement is an immersive virtual reality project that aims to encourage individuals to actively participate in the efforts to create sustainable cities. A lot of people underestimate how much of an impact their actions can have on urban communities. People need to be aware of how easy it is to take action. In this virtual reality experience, they will be introduced to achievable solutions. It will work to inspire people and give a sense of responsibility for our cities by addressing topics like pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, energy efficiency, and climate change.
So here we are, welcome to our city. As you can see, we will go around at our immersive reality. We want to get through, but we see there's traffic blocking us. So what happens if we were to walk towards the oncoming traffic? Well, that didn't work. Something needs to be done, and we need to create something. If we look to our left, we see a little green spray can. So if we grab it and walk towards it, we created a bike lane. So as we can see a sign that over half the world lives in cities projected to reach 70% by 2050. Traffic congestion worsens pollution, but taking bike lanes could help mitigate these issues. Biking to work could save you about $1,000 per year on gas, boost your health, and lower the carbon footprint. So we can just walk through traffic. As you can see, all the noise died down. There's still going to be cars, but because there's less traffic, it's easier to pass through, and we can take bikes to work now. So on to our next phase. As we walk closer, you'll notice. Okay, so as we walk closer, as you can see, we start coughing. This represents our current time. In some areas, not this city luckily, but in some cities, there's something bad in the air. A lot of carbon monoxide outside, very bad for our health. We cough a lot. So obviously, an easy and common solution to help fix this is to plant trees. So as you can see, we have a little water spout right here. So you notice the big CO2 clouds are gone away, and now all these other trees are growing in the background. If you look at the sign over here, cities must prepare as the climate crisis worsens and natural disasters become more frequent. By planting trees and creating designed green spaces, cities can improve air quality and become equipped to prevent disasters in ecologically friendly ways. You see even little birds on the trees too. So we're going to walk down. Was that water? Should have okay, so there's a little glitch here. When we planted all 40 trees, the idea was that when the clouds disappear, something to hit box that was blocking you from preventing us from crossing over. For some reason, that's not triggering. I don't know why. Is it possible to restart and try again? Sorry about that. It worked for you guys when you assessed it, right?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay, I don't know what happened. We're gonna try this all again. So we're just gonna speed run this. So same thing, we're gonna create a bike lane. You see, that's cool. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna plant all 4 of the trees. Okay, this should work. Okay, I don't know what that was. So we're gonna keep going. As you can see, we have little birds around us, bringing more life as we plant. So as we plant more trees, more life is gonna come with it naturally. And then we're next to our final phase. So as you can see, there's a giant gate blocking us. Only these little tools, gardening and insulation. So what we're gonna do with it? Actually, my partner over here is gonna grab the insulation and slap into the building to our right. So this represents the insulated buildings that we can promote. This thing, the whole point of this insulation, building insulation, is to provide efficient energy use. So our left tree is going to plant the garden. So I'll do it like this. After the garden and some trees are planted, there should be a sign over there, but it's not showing up. But though, yeah,
For the billboard, it basically said, for when you have most people on their energy bill every year are wasting about $200 to $400 due to leaking heating and cooling. By sealing leaks, using LED light bulbs, updating your windows and your insulation in your house, you can save that money and prevent greenhouse gas emissions from excess energy use.
So at the end of all this, we can see a big sign that says, taking care of the environment is crucial for enhancing urban life. By creating bike lanes and planting trees, we not only reduce air pollution and provide green spaces for relaxation, but also promote a healthier and more sustainable way of living. These initiatives foster a sense of community, improve overall well-being, and contribute to the long-term utility of our cities. As we look back, you see it's a lot more lively than when we started. We got trees, birds, bikes moving around everywhere. This too is achievable in our cities. It doesn't really take much in terms of what we can do. But this is it. You can enjoy a little fun view here, find little birds, and yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. It's the first, I mean, it's really enjoyable to see it all come together. In the end, there were so many parts, right, and very ambitious, but you really accomplished it, and the precision of how you really perfected, you know, watering the plants and making sure all the details speak out, and the bicycling road, you know, thank you for taking all this feedback. You know, it really contributed to the project. It's a wonderful work. I want to congratulate you on this. But typography is absolutely stunning, and really nice journey throughout and through beginning. Very form with one or the two objects until the full completion of the entire project with 3 different parts. So great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, we're Group Not Too Late. I'm Alexa Morante. I'm a graphic design major.
I'm Malin Pomsino. I'm also a graphic design major.
I'm Jonathan. I'm a CS major.
I'm Nigel, and I'm a CS major.
So our sustainable goal for our project is climate action, specifically climate change. It's kind of inevitable to deny that global warming is happening and that like, our environment is changing around us. And there isn't a specific solution to climate change that doesn't involve sectors and politicians and stuff like that. But our project is gonna kind of immerse the viewer into like an everyday setting of what they can do for their part. Yeah, we're gonna show you what you guys can do.
So you enter in your apartment. You notice it's kind of dark here, and you're presented with: do you want to like open the curtains, or do you want to like turn on the lights? So in this case, let's just say you want to open the curtains for the day. As you open the curtains, you get presented with like kind of like a view. You get a lot of sunshine coming in, and then after opening this, you see over there to your left, you want to get something to drink. Now, do you want to have an alternative milk, such as like oat milk? Or do you want to do whole milk? So in this case, let's just choose whole milk. Pick it up, and then you can rotate it. And as you rotate, CO2 actually starts getting put out because of the amount of CO2 it takes just to produce whole milk itself. As this is done, that's it. And you just walk through the door. And after this, when you leave this your apartment, you decide that you want to go to the park just to walk around. But you don't know what kind of form of transportation. Without putting too much thought on this, you choose automobile. Okay.
We might have to reload because we're stuck on a different plane and there's no way to move up.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
reload. We're just stuck on that little ledge right there, and if we don't have a jump, we can't get over that ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, once we're here. In the case where you don't want to open the curtains, what if you just wanted to turn on the lights instead? Just walk into it. There we go. As you see, it's kind of dim. CO2 gets displayed because of the amount of energy needed to turn on the lights, and then you just choose oat milk in this case. Might as well do the opposite. And there we go. We see as we're pouring oat milk. Okay, you can just walk through the door somewhere. Oh,
No,
God.
I didn't.
Wow, this is very depressing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what was supposed to happen here is you're given a choice of whether you want to take the car to the park or you want to, ride on a bike. Without much thought, you would want to just take a car because you don't really probably feel like doing physical exercise. And as you're doing this, you don't realize that you're releasing a bunch of pollution, CO2 into the air, which causes, something out of sight, like a glacier to start melting and cracking, releasing more water, raising the ocean water.
And our overall idea with having like a glacier or an environment next to us is just to kind of have this idea of a cause and effect, type of thing. So like every decision that you do, whether big or small, it's gonna yes.
Hey, let's go.
It's gonna
Right.
cause
So just walk through
an
these.
effect to the environment.
So you see cars start rising, pollution gets risen, it's called CO2, and then you look over the glacier, we have it melting, cracking, all that. And just go through the next. That works. Who cares? Okay, so you finally made it. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Ignore the pink ground for right now. You're at the park. You know, you brought some food along, and you're like, do I want to throw this away or recycle? And once again, without much thought, you just toss everything into the recycle bin or into the trash because you just want it. So as you're doing it, you start to see that trees are actually starting to die around you. Just do it a couple more times. So the scene is starting to get a little bit darker as we do this. More trees are dying. The sky is now turned dark. More trees are dying. As you finally throw away your final item, you have all this, negative words that start coming out, and it's all because of how trash gets burned away and gets dealt with in the end. So, to the final tour and see.
So this essentially explains that we still have time, and that's not too late. So we can see that we have kind of these two options of being sustainable every day and green, and so we can, save our little penguins, or we have our other option where we are using the dairy, like an excess amount of dairy products, which can cause like a lot of greenhouse gases and alternatives, and there are 170 million metric tons of CO2, and that vehicles are releasing 4.6 metric tons of greenhouse gases. And so we can tell that this is kind of what we can try to do, and this is a potential that we have if we move in the right direction.
That's a project.
So glad to see it's the penguins and the ice, the glaciers are here. So nice touch with that because this is important, right? It was planned from the start, but we had some issues during the development of it. So now it's finally happening. Really nice.
I'm Veronica Gonzalez. I'm a graphic design major.
And I am Rebecca Choi. I am a computer science major.
And I'm Owen Hershey. I'm also a computer science.
Our project sustainable goal was reduce inequality, and our project is called Generational House Price to Income Ratio. Yeah. We recently have been hearing a lot about the housing crisis, and the sentiment among our fellow college students is that it will be very hard to ever own a personal home. Whereas earlier generations saw owning their home as a natural next step in their life. We hope to demonstrate the suffocating feeling of today's housing market compared to decades earlier, and also propose how we might be able to combat this crisis.
So if you look here, we go through the door and you see your average annual income being around close to $5.6K.
North Vietnam,
and this is during the 1970s. It feels we were trying to emulate a spacious, kind of like pseudo home. And the audio is meant to simulate
the northern sector of South Vietnam.
to show. So the idea behind this was that when you light up a room, you're able to see ideally graphic of how the different furnitures of the time and how much they would cost, which would be a vast contrast to today's, where it looks nicer, it's a lot bigger, the space is bigger, and yet it's still so much cheaper, more affordable than it is today.
And then you'll see how much the house costs, which is 23 grand approximately average. So in 1981, the typical home buyer was between the ages of 25 to 34, whereas current home buyer age is now around the age of 44, which you can see that increase, and that is why we're a lot less optimistic about ever being able to own a home. And then home prices have leapt by 118% since 1965. Median household income has increased by 15%. And since 1965, home prices increased 7.6 times faster than income, which, not great stats. And then in 2023, the average annual income is around $59,000, a little above. And then you can see the room feels a lot more cramped. The footprint, your footprint will be a lot smaller. And by turning on the light, hopefully you can see how the room looks, as well as in 2023, the average house price was $234,000. So, to afford a home in 2021, Americans need an average income of approximately $144,000. Unfortunately, the current median household income is around $69,000, and the average house price to income ratio is 5.4, and a lot of experts consider they recommend a maximum ratio of 2.6, so much higher than what is considered in a healthy economy. And then 2019 to 2021. So in 2019 to 2021, it saw an increased average house price to income by 14.9%. And you can see, like in the graph, you see that the disparity between home values vastly outpaces incomes, where incomes stay very low, well below 25, whereas home values have continued to exponentially. And especially if you look at near 2020, you can see that there is already a dip in median household income, whereas average home values are slightly. So our solution. So this is our solution, which requires a little bit of backstory. So this is all from an article from Politico. In 1920s, they had a decade-long effort to accurately collect unemployment data and other labor market statistics, which led to 1930 census having a new set of questions dedicated to unemployment. And this gave a much clearer view of the rising unemployment rates during the Great Depression. And this clarity had the US government move with more haste, which led to things like President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. And similar effects could be seen during the COVID-19 pandemic unemployment rates. So it is important that we have certain statistics and these numbers because they have an effect on the people as well as our government. And you can see a graph of unemployment rates. And you see unemployment rate as a huge buzzword in media, and it makes politicians do something about it. So our solution would be housing loss is a complicated problem, and it is only getting worse. And for the past 40 years, housing supply has not kept up with the demand, leading to a housing shortage and skyrocketing housing prices. Homeowners dealt with interest rate hikes and soaring home prices, and home prices increased more than 10% between 2021 and 2022. The increasing interest rates have nearly doubled median monthly mortgage payments from $1,242 to $2,044. And therefore that is why a lot of the younger generations are struggling to ever own a home. While we have these concerning statistics, we need a more centralized and summarized statistics similar to the unemployment rate to get the whole country taking this as the crisis that it is. So hopefully encourage the government to do something like the census, where have a set list of questions so that they find more information about the housing crisis. And then there are organizations that are actively working to solve the housing crisis and encourage better ways to collect data on housing and housing loss. And those are some of the organizations that were said in this YouTube video, which is like a conference where they were like saying what they were doing to help the housing crisis.
So much, really great to see the end, and thanks for putting all these encouraging options, for people to address and participate. So, good work. I'm just curious, any of the students owns the house already? Own the house?
No, I'm just stretching.
Oh, just stretching.
It gets very cramped when you sit on it.
I know. It's it's an interesting concept too, because back in the time when I was a student, well, many years ago, right? But there was this tendency for students, like if they would study in a rural areas, not in urban like Chicago. Okay, it's of course unaffordable, but if you are in a small campus, it was considered to be a better living, if you would own the house. So many students done it. I guess we don't have a comparison because we're in Chicago, but I'm just curious if it's still a tendency.
Also, really quickly, if you want to fact check anything that I said in the GitHub repo that we do have for this project, all the links are in the repo. So.
That's great. All right, so take the stage. Thank
All right,
you.
so before we start, we should introduce our sustainable goal. And so when it comes to life underwater, the UN's goal is to, so quote unquote, is to conserve and sustainably use the ocean, sea, and marine resources. And that can relate to a lot of things, like with how they use resources underwater. But right now we're moving to a future where we might not be able to use those resources, and a lot of that has to do with pollution underwater. So underwater pollution, it affects our climate, our health, and it can affect us economically too. And so one sustainable method that that we can do that doesn't really require any innovation or any new technology is to just be responsible with how we throw away our waste and our recycling. And that's what this project is introducing, because it is our responsibility. It only requires our responsibility, just nothing more than that. So.
Okay, we also forgot to introduce ourselves. My name's Akio Gross. I'm a computer science student.
And I'm Killen Moody. I'm also a computer science student.
And the goal of this project is to basically show the effect of pollution of waste underwater and how it affects the ecosystem underwater, and how our simple actions can have a huge difference within the underwater ecosystem.
So to start off, this is just the lobby right now.
Yeah.
And you can see how the fish are moving around. And there is some waste underwater, but they are able to move right now. And as you see here, it says underwater waste comprises of human-generated debris like plastics, chemicals, and pollutants that contaminate aquatic ecosystems. It harms marine life, disrupts habitats, pollutes water, and affects economies. And it has very bad global implications. And
it's when I'm supposed to click a button, it's supposed to move up and narrate that. It's just running through here, but I can move aside from it. So this stage is very crowded because we're trying to show the effect of pollution and how it's overwhelming for the ecosystem. So you kind of have to navigate it, and you can see all these upside down fish, and that's basically to show that they're dead.
And the typography gets more negative as you go. It went from pollution to disease, and eventually it'll lead to death. As you can see, the fish being upside down, and then we'll be floating out instead of dead. So let's just get into this.
And again, when I click on this button, it's supposed to move up and basically show the
oh, there you go.
yeah, that sometimes happens. The text doesn't show up in the middle of the right?
Okay, now it's okay, so basically, the goal is sort of like a game created in this stage where basically we're trying to get rid of trash, and then you'll see, let's, so it's like showing this side, this part of the screen.
Okay, do you think we can restart this? Because it shows that you're at two different positions.
Yeah.
The middle one, you're farther up, whereas this one is still back.
So I'm just going to speed run through here, but okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna skip that part. I was supposed to narrate, but I don't think we did it. So if once we click on here, it's supposed to, the text is supposed to disappear, and it'll show a plan that there's three different positions. Okay. I'm gonna try and move forward. Hit that one, and then you'll see like basically plants start to sprout because of the fact that we're getting rid of the trash underwater. And I think it's a good way to show that like a lot of the trash that we throw, not a lot of it can be removed. So as you can see, like not on that, a lot of these like trash typographies, like they won't move except for one of them, and it'll show that like whatever we do when it comes to moving the ocean, it can be permanent in a sense, which is why there's only one way to go through, and it's very constricted and protected for these animals too, which is why like you can barely move through these typographies. So I know that's very tricky, but hopefully I can pass this.
Maybe you can go around it.
It's kind of locked in position. Should I lock in position? We made sure to cover the edges. Wait, wow. Unless I can save it. There you go. And then, like I said before, this was supposed to move up and it's supposed to narrate it, but so, you know, we're on the third stage. Okay, so this third stage, essentially now moving on to the solution. So, you can see all the way, it's kind of hard to see what's going on right now. Here, we're just gonna look at this camera right here. Look at the middle camera right here. Maybe this is left. Yeah, front. So can you look at that?
Oh, it's like, alright.
Base control plus there.
So what's supposed to happen when you
So
get there?
what's supposed to happen is that, okay, so right now we have, there's 3 trash typographies, 3 waste typographies, and there's 2 containers. One on the left is gonna say garbage, and one on the right is gonna say recycling. So you throw certain ones in the garbage, and you throw certain ones in the recycling. You throw them all in the right places. Eventually, like it'll keep track of like what you're throwing in, and once that count reaches a certain like number,
fish
that whale right there, it's supposed to move up and out of the way, and all the fish around you are supposed to move around. Like it's supposed to start moving around, and it's supposed to show that like when you do throw it away, you can keep these animals alive and keep them active, in a sense. Yeah. But I mean, you can't really do that right now.
So when you're underwater, you don't have recycling can and you don't have trash cans. Like, so how can you recycle? Like, what would be your suggestion for?
Well, I mean, it's not saying that like all there's like underwater like recycling and stuff like that, but like I think it's just like a way to show that like the effects of it, like because I mean yes there is underwater waste currently, we can't do anything about that, but like in the future when we do have what we can do is that we can recycle properly and like throw our garbage properly, and eventually it'll get to a point where these fish can move around. I think that was the purpose.
That was good. So when we were supposed to organize the trash, the fish were supposed to come down and basically swim around, and this whale was supposed to swim up, which would lead us to a maze, to a clear and sustainable path. And we want to read our amenities, so we should just do this. Go all the way up.
Alright, good.
So this is a maze. Essentially kind of show like effects of animals like underwater when we do a lot of underwater pollution. And it's hard for them to navigate, and like whatever underwater pollution that we do, it can kind of trick them in a way, and then they might not be able to move freely, and it'll eventually restrict them so much to the point where it might cause like more death and such like that. And as you can see here, like, when you hit something, it'll like teleport you back.
Because I can't see this part of the screen, I'm trying to navigate it, but it's hard. Yeah. I just want to talk about the end solution. I'm trying not to go that.
Okay. We're at the time, but
Oh, we're out of time here. Okay, but yeah, like our ending solution was that okay. So by coming together, we can manage we might be managing our garbage and recycling. Eventually we can move to a future where like underwater pollution will be less, and that can affect all the animals living underwater in a positive way, and it can move towards a sustainable goal. So.
fine. Okay, thank you so much. I think this is all. Yeah, I'll take this stuff.
Is it okay if you were to take notes so you can read off of them?
Take notes?
If you were to take notes so that way you can read off of the presentation.
Yeah. So we're also recording. Don't forget, we are on Zoom.
Excellent.
nostalgia to a normal life. My name is V. I'm a design major. This is Irby on the computer side. Around the world, many regions are burdened by the presence of slum area. These densely populated areas are characterized by substandard housing, absence of basic service, and one important thing is limited access to sanitation and clean environment. This problem is caused by environmental pollution, which intensify the already challenging living condition. Tackling this complex challenge demands a multifaceted approach that includes improved housing, sanitation, and environmental remediation. The project is to create a stark contrast between the living condition of impoverished community and the lush, clean, green environment. The goal is to advocate for and facilitate initiative that supports struggling and impoverished community in these slums in transitioning to a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable living environment. By doing so, it's safe to contribute to poverty alleviation and improve the overall well-being of these communities.
Okay, so at the beginning, the user hears a lot of sounds that does. As you can see, we're in the slums surrounded by dirty homes and trash. In order to progress, we need to move forward with the path in front of us. As we go along the path in front of us, we see various types of trash, dark matter, as well as CO2 as well. The smoke and CO2 are floating because of pollution. In order to remove the CO2 and smoke, we need to move close and interact with it. And we encounter the ties and bottles of only solution is the water past, which is around Then we encounter boxes that are blocking the tunnel, and we need to move them aside in order to gain access to the tunnel. When we push away the boxes, we find a glow stick on the floor, which we'll pick up in order to see the inside of the dark tunnel. As we move inside the dark tunnel, the glow stick shall light up. Close it out in order to show the room around us that it's filled with inspirational goals such as clean environment, normal life, and clean community, as well as various recycling bins and trash bags in which the users shall interact. Once the users interact with the trash bags, they shall be teleported back to the beginning where they shall see a quote saying, "Let's start clean," in which they need to interact. Once they have interacted with the quote, they shall soon see a recycling circle in which they will need to pick up and use to interact with the various recyclable trash they find. Some trash can be recycled in order to get a recycled brick in order for the user to use on these broken homes in order to fix them. Some other trash shall be recycled into seed that the user will use on the tops of these pots, so that way a plant can grow, which shall release O2 and bring a cleaner environment. Various other recyclable trash shall be recycled into wooden chairs, as well as this wooden table. When the user has recycled and planted enough seeds and plants, the environment and the sky shall change to show the cleaner and fresher environment. In the end, the user shall reach the end in which it will talk about the interests and accomplishments the user has faced, as well as the positive changes that it brings to the slums. The user might believe that their interactions on the slums are insignificant, but it actually brings motivation and inspiration for the people in the slums to create a cleaner and healthier environment.
That is the end of our project.
Hey. Nice. Congratulations on accomplishing all what you planned, and also adding those new materials at the end. This looks very, very good and wonderful. The final touch with interaction and just the juxtaposition of the recycling environment and the slum. The slum is very successful. It's one of the best slums we've seen. So really nice work with textures and materials and interaction as well. Okay, overall great.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's it? Oh yeah. So that concludes our exhibition. All right. So why don't we move to the? We have some food there. We're gonna do concluding remarks there. I'll stop recording.